Hello, welcome back to the Villa View podcast. I'm your host, Dan Bardell, joined as ever by Chris Dolan and Omar. Apologies for the slightly late start. We were too busy reminiscing over Tom Julian's poor historical notes, so we ended up having a bit of a chat about that, and we didn't realise that time had got away from us, and it was 9:05. But here we are. Without further ado, we will start the podcast. Start with you, Dolan. You good?
Yeah, good man. Pretty good. Pretty good. Buzzing for the Ryder Cup actually. I'm more excited for the Ryder Cup than the game on Saturday. To be honest.
Excellent stuff. I mean, we won't be talking about the Ryder Cup at all during this podcast because I haven't got a clue about golf. Omar, any football chat from you?
No, I'm all out, mate.
Equally looking forward to the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, we were talking about it at work today. I work with loads of golfers.
No, enough of that. Forget that.
I can't play, so I'm rubbish at it. I don't watch it.
Oh, you need to be good at golf in your world. Probably
I
my
do.
world as
I
well.
do.
I'm rubbish.
Yeah.
Absolutely appalling. Dolan says he's good just because he's put one video on social media and he claims to be good at golf off that one video on social media. Yeah,
I'm good at Top Golf. If we play that.
Crazy golf's about as far as I'll go. But let's move away from golf. Pub golf I've been known to do as well, but we'll move away from that now. Let's start with a really bright positive. We had a post-match pint on Saturday. No, we didn't. It was on Sunday with Ty and Neil. Thanks ever so much to them for carrying the torch on Sunday night. None of us obviously were on there, so let's start and talk about that game a little bit and catch up. Dolan, buzzing.
From Saturday, yeah, incredible. Yeah. Incredible. Just again, the only slight negative, or the only big negative from that is Bailey is coming off and looks like he'll be out now for a few weeks, but completely just turned the game on its head. I thought it was a fairly evenly matched game. I thought, Everton played how I thought they would play for most of the season under Rafa, quite sort of conservative.
They had a couple of chances. Damari Gray put one wide just before we scored.
Yeah, they had chances, but I mean, we had chances too. I mean, that outrageous save from Begovic. It's great. It's actually, it's really pleasing to see us taking our set pieces a lot more seriously because, under O'Neill, we were renowned for scoring goals in set pieces. We had Mellberg, we had Larson, we had great players in the air, Carew, and then when we had that delivery from Young back in the day, it was terrifying. So we're really using our we're using our strengths, and you see how many different set pieces that we're working on. It's still obviously quite new into Austin McPhee's reign, so I think we're only going to get better and better. And it's great to see us taking that side of the game seriously because you can win and lose a game on a set piece. And I thought we were outstanding on Saturday. That sort of second half, we just blew them to shreds. I wasn't obviously at the game. You were there. You said the atmosphere was probably one of the best you've been involved in for quite a few years.
You think back to that first game, second home game back in the Premier League when we played Everton. The atmosphere that night was incredible. It really, really was. That was a great atmosphere. But I would say after we scored in this game, the atmosphere was way louder than that. The atmosphere was absolutely incredible. It felt like the roof was going to blow off. It was just so loud, so enjoyable. And I think that was when I felt like, yes, Villa's back. Football's back. I would say the atmosphere in the previous games was maybe a little bit flat at Villa Park. Not the most entertaining of two games, although I've said on this podcast I enjoyed the Brentford game actually for what it was. But this was like, you felt we're back 3-0. Leon Bailey came on and just completely changed the game. Omar, the guy's electric. It's just a shame that we haven't seen as much of him so far this season as we would like.
I know. So we keep getting tasters of him, don't we?
Yeah. It's a recurring theme.
I know, it's just frustrating, but he changed the game. Matty Cash's goal changed the game, but obviously Bailey, what he did after that 21-minute spell, he was so good, so electric, and we saw a glimpse of it. And I think the key with Bailey is his end product, and that's he's only been on the pitch for I don't know how many minutes, but he's
21.
already got what, 2.
Sorry, across the two
plus Watford, plus Watford game as well. He's got 2 assists and a goal as well. And the third goal, really, that was the one where the crowd just erupted. I think great ball by Ings, that first touch, with his head, and he's running with the ball. Godfrey's not slow. He's a quick
defender.
Quick defender, and he couldn't get near him. and then the power in the shot.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's ruptured his not ruptured his quad, but
no. Certain journalists have had poor language on Twitter in the last few days.
I feel bad for Ash. He's got. I gave him a bit of stick, not stick.
You got to get the terminology right.
You got to be. It's a difference between 3 weeks and 6 months. Yeah, exactly. So I do feel for him a little bit. Obviously, he didn't think about it too much. But anyway, yeah, and yeah, great shot, powerful. It wasn't in the corner or anything like that, but the power in the shot was enough. And
you're not
great cameo.
That.
And no, and it changed the game, obviously. But I thought just before that, Dino mentioned as well, Everton were getting on top a little bit. They had a good chance for Gray as well, and we were looking a little bit open. I thought, but I think Bailey coming on, Cash's goal, well-worked goal as well, just made a massive difference. And then confidence built. Then after that, and Ramsey came close as well with a goal, with the shot. Sorry, and I mean, I can watch that sort of 30-minute spell, whatever it was, 35-minute spell again and again, because we were just every player was, we were winning second balls, we were passing it nice and crisp, we were keeping the ball, we were creating chances. And that's what you love. And Villa Park under the floodlights, that's what football's all about for us as a Villa fans. So yeah, brilliant to see. Great win, 3-0. Flattering scoreline, but again, we were on the end of a 3-0 defeat the week before, which was flattering to Chelsea. So it's just the way football works sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually. I'd love to watch that 30 minutes back, but my Skybox hard disk unfortunately corrupted and completely failed, so I was not able to watch the game back. I did watch Match of the Day.
Bloody Sky.
I know.
Sky, eh?
I did watch Match of the Day back, which was enjoyable, but I would love to watch that last 30 minutes back. Now, if I'm a box replaced, I might go back and see if I can find it. Just the last thing on that game, when Bailey was running towards that goal from left wing back, by the way, what an attacking substitution that was. And he headed it down, he was running towards the goal. He's a good player because you just never, ever felt like there was going to be anything but it end up in the back of the net. I was just never, ever in doubt that he was going to score. It was an outrageously powerful finish, and yeah, can't wait to see more of him. But unfortunately, as Dolan said at the start, it doesn't look like we'll be seeing him at Manchester United. Now, we didn't do a post-match point last night after the League Cup game because we just decided we'd talk about it in this podcast instead. Save our producer having to sit through and listen to us 2 nights running, and to save you guys from it as well. This is the hot topic, by the way. So the main question we're taking away from this is: should we have gone full strength? I was a little bit upset, Dolan, before the game because I looked at the team, I looked at the bench, and I just thought, I want to win something. I want to win a cup. It's been so long. The last time we won a cup, I was 10, and I just assumed we won the League Cup every few years because that was what life seemed to be like at that point as a naive 10-year-old. And then, obviously, I'm now 36, 26 years later. We've not won a jot since, unless you count the Peace Cup or the Intertoto Cup or the Cup of Traditions, another big trophy, literally. So I was a bit... not annoyed. Annoyed is the wrong word. I trust Dean Smith. Dean Smith. I don't count that. I don't count that. The rung below. No, the rung below. I don't count that. I don't count the rung below. I count the Peace Cup more than I count that against Juventus. So I've seen the team selection, and I'm a bit confused. I trust Dean Smith. I back Dean Smith, and I look. Obviously, the games took place, and we played really well, so you can't really dwell on it for too long. But I would have liked to see at the very least, Watkins on the bench, maybe Ings on the bench, because I do think when we got back to 1-1, if we'd have had someone to bring on, like they had Lukaku, they had Mason Mount to bring on, I really think that would have swung the game in our direction, Dolan.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I mean, obviously, hindsight, as they all say, is a wonderful thing. And would it have been nice to have had Watkins and Ings on the bench for penalties? Yes, although Watkins' penalty record's not great, but having those guys on the bench for those circumstances, I mean, why would you not have them there? It's better to have them there than not have them there. But again, I was thinking about this today. We discussed it last night, and you were saying you were a bit annoyed at the squad and the bench, but I think we're focusing more on breaking into the top 6 than winning a cup. I think the club's ambition is to break that top 4, the top 6.
But this season, you think that's possible this season?
Well, you heard Dean Smith say when he was talking about Jack, that we were 18 months behind where he wanted to be, and where did Jack want to be? Jack wanted to be in Europe, playing in the Champions League. So I honestly believe that our focus is on cementing ourselves as a top 6 club. For me, that's a much harder achievement than winning a cup final. So I think they're going down that route of once we get ourselves established, once we have the squad and get ourselves established, then we will get there eventually, you know. But would I rather win a cup than finish in the top 6 or in the top 8? I'd rather win a cup personally as a fan. I'd rather be at Wembley. I don't care what trophy it is. I'd rather be at Wembley seeing us lifting a trophy, of course. But you know, it's one of those things. Some big teams went out last night as well. I thought Chelsea were there for the taking. I thought we played really well. I thought Courtney House, as you mentioned as well, was outstanding. He was excellent. That was amazing last ditch tackle.
What a tackle!
When Lukaku went through, was amazing. Thought Cash was
just quickly. Sorry to interrupt your flow. On that Courtney House tackle. Lukaku's fresh. Not many people can deal with Lukaku at the best of times. To do what he did there and deal with him, you know, when he's probably feeling a little bit leggy, he hasn't really played this season. That's a massive compliment to how good a defender Courtney House is, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think someone said again on Twitter, you know, like we look at players that come into the club, and Dean Smith he improves players. He makes players better footballers. You know, we bought in House on loan, bought him for what, 3 million, 3.5 million quid, something like that. You know, when he plays, he never, ever, ever lets us down. I mean, he had that shocker of a debut against Wigan, but everyone was shocking that day. That was just an all-round awful performance. But I can't remember Hall's ever let us down. No. Came in last season around Christmas time, scored against Palace, was outstanding in that run of 4 or 5 games. And you know, very unlucky to lose his place. You know, we're speaking about playing this 5-3-2 formation. You know, obviously Tuanzebe can't play on Saturday, but for me, if you want to carry on with that formation, just bring Hawes in. No problem at all. I have no problems bringing him in, because I think he's a very, very assured, very, very competent footballer, as well as a very, very good defender. And you know, he's like for like in terms of physique with Tuanzebe. You know, he's not a small centre back. He's a big lad. You know, he's a big youth, and you know, especially for us on set pieces and the way we want to play. And you know, I think we're going to try and be a bit more direct against United, because I mean, you know, we're not going to go there and try and outplay them, because we won't. So you bring in Courtney Halls on Saturday and you keep that same balance, and I think we'll give them a game.
Oh, you've changed your tune on the formation front after the WhatsApps that we were having back and forth.
Well, no, actually, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite formation, but it's clearly one that he likes, and
it's the best one for us at the moment. I think with personnel available. Yeah,
it's working for us with the personnel, as you say, that we have available. I still prefer the 4-3-3 kind of formation, where you sort of have, you know, maybe you drop deep into a 5 when you're defending, and then you go, you play as a front 3 when you're attacking. So that's the formation I prefer. But again, this is working for us, and I think he'll stick with it. You know, if he played it against Chelsea, I think he'll certainly play it against United away.
Yeah. It's a really good game, actually, and quite refreshing to see Villa make so many changes. As much as I wanted us to go a little bit more full tilt, Omar, to make those changes and be competitive, because Chelsea, they make 11 changes or 10 changes, however many they made. It is a team full of internationals. Ours was a mix of fringe players, some who were internationals and youth. But refreshing to see us go 1-0 down and not have the heads drop and have the nous to get back to 1-1. A lovely delivery from Matty Cash. And Cameron Archer's kind of come from nowhere, because he hasn't ever been a youngster that's been talked about. No one spoke about Cameron Archer taking up the next step and coming into the first team. But you look now, Wesley's gone on loan. He's the third striker, and the opportunities he's been given, he really couldn't have done any more. He even could have had a couple more goals, actually, against Chelsea.
Yeah, it's weird. As I say, football's a funny old game. You know, most people expect youngsters to have that sort of traditional path where they do well at youth level, they go out on loan, do well on loan, and they sort of have these cameo appearances and then eventually break their way into the first team. Cameron Archer's had a completely different way, really, because he sort of looked like he was sort of the forgotten man a little bit. He didn't really, he did well at youth level, went out on loan in Solihull and sort of played on the wing. But, I think we offered him a new contract, or we got signed a new contract, but it was very much the case of, well, we're not sure he's going to make it. He'll probably go and sign for a league club, maybe a championship or League One club eventually, and then sort of continue his career that way. For him to make the statement he did in the League Cup game before this, obviously scoring a hat-trick, and then what he's done in this game, just, it's amazing to see. And I'm so impressed with him, so impressed with him. He's coming up against physical defenders, really tough Premier League defenders. I know Malang Sarr's a reserve backup, but, they still had decent defenders, decent players there. For him to boss them, for him to work as hard as he did, he's a small in stature, but he's so strong. He's a bit like Tevez almost, isn't he? He's just like such a fierce player. Good low center of gravity, quick, strong, runs the channels, and more importantly, as you saw with his goal, he knows how to get himself in goal scoring positions. And yeah, he probably could have done better with his 2 chances. But if you look back at it, the first one, I think, both times he tries to chip it over the keeper.
Keeper's out fast both times, to give Kepa credit.
Yeah, and I think you have to give him credit. I think, especially the second one, I think that's a really good save. He stays high up as well as he's coming out. He still stays high up and hits his shoulder. So, it's a difficult one for him, but for him to keep on going and score that goal, what a ball, what a header. You saw the away fans, you saw how much it means to us. Going back to your earlier question around, a stronger bench. I would have personally liked it. I said it from before the match. I said, I don't understand why we didn't get one of Watkins or Ings on the bench. And people will say, you don't want to risk him for the Premier League, but what are we going to do this season? If we break top 6, amazing, but is that realistic? I'm not too sure. I'd rather go deep in the cup and try and win it than, because you don't get to choose when you win a cup. It doesn't work like that.
You definitely don't.
Sometimes you get the luck of the draw, don't you? And I think if Chelsea were always going to rest players. If we had Watkins or Ings on the bench, then maybe it makes a difference. But then again, you look at that after we score a goal, we have 2 or 3 chances after that. And, Buendia should do better. El Ghazi should maybe cross it instead of shooting. So, we had plenty of chances, and I think we were the better team overall and probably deserved to win. And going back to another question you asked in terms of our second string team, I can't remember when we've had, when we'd be able to change our team completely like we did and be competitive against, this is the European champions. This is their second string side. Even then, they've got a smattering of key players like Kante, Reece James. These Werner, is their star signing last season. I know he's not hit the ground running or whatever, but still, these are top players, and our team's competing with them, not just competing with them, out competing them. You're doing better than them and creating better chances, and probably on the balance of things, probably deserve to win. And they had to bring on Mount, they had to bring on Lukaku to make a difference. And even then, I think we got better, even with Lukaku coming on, just because you've talked about House, who was amazing. And I think House will get highlighted because of that tackle, because it was such an amazing tackle. But I think Tuanzebe, that was probably his best game in a Villa shirt that I've seen. And especially this season, I think he's been hit and miss a little bit. He's had good moments and bad moments, but I think consistently in that game, he was fantastic. And it just shows you the strength in depth that we've got now, where we're able to switch players out, and you don't worry too much. If Mings is missing, I don't worry that much, because you miss his leadership, obviously, but Tuanzebe coming in, Konza continue to mature and do well, House there as a backup. Yeah, and Traore as well. One I just wanted to mention him quickly as well. I thought, again, he was, it's easy for wingers in a game like that to hide, I think. You see where a winger, especially where he's not in the team, he's not getting in the team, he's thereabouts, and sorry to use Steve Bruce phrase, but he's on the subs bench, but he's not getting in the first team. Easy for that kind of game just to go through the motions. And I thought he took the game by the scruff of the neck. He worked hard. He won the ball back along with Buendia as well, and tried to make things happen. And that's great to see. And that's what competition brings. It levels everyone up. They start competing. They want to fight for that share. They want to get in the team, and that's what you want from a squad. And that's what we're seeing. Hopefully that continues. And with Bailey obviously being injured now, and Stanson, unfortunately, again, good 40 minutes. I thought did really.
He was
well.
Our best player up until that injury. He was having a really neat and tidy game, moving the ball around, taking up nice positions when he'd release the ball to receive it back, getting around the pitch well for someone who hasn't played for months really in a competitive game. Yeah. Really, really disappointed to see him pick up another injury. It just seems like he's cursed. But like Bailey, if you look at their injury records before they came, never injured. Come to Villa,
just
and
unlucky, isn't it?
It's one of my mates was saying to me, you've got to investigate the medical team with these players getting injured. I was like, why? It's just one of them things. Anyone can get injured. Yeah. It happens. So yeah, but annoying because he was having a really good game. Someone else who's had a couple of good games, Dolan, Matty Cash, the Polish Cafu, as he was dubbed last night at Stamford Bridge. Goal against Everton. Lovely cross, like an excellent whipped in ball. And he was probably one of our best players before he scored. against Everton, and it was the same again last night. Before he got that assist, he was one of our better players. I think it was either only one that kept his place from the league game, Matty Cash, because there's
Yeah,
not
I think he
many
did.
right backs knocking
I think
around.
he
But
did. Yeah.
he's in supreme form at the moment. And again, we asked the question last week: who's going to be the next international footballer under Dean Smith? Looks like it'll be Matty Cash if he gets his passport sorted, which is no mean feat in this day and age.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you try and wait it out and play for England, or Poland are a very, very good national side.
You want to play in international
But,
tournaments, don't you? And I
do,
think
yeah, you do.
you'll do that if you go and play for Poland.
Yeah. So he's in a pretty good position. Then if he can get in the Poland squad, then he'll certainly compete at a very high standard of international football. But I know there's so many right backs at the minute for England, but he's, for me, you look at, if he has another really good season like he did last season. Mings has gone in there. I'm still astounded that Konza hasn't even been called up yet. But let's hope again, if he can have another consistent season, then he's certainly got to be in and around that England squad. But I don't know, if I was Matty Cash, I'd believe in his own ability. I would try and wait it out and break into that England squad, because you just never know with injuries, with lack of form. I would keep focusing on Villa, and I think in the next 12 months he could be in that squad. But listen, Poland are a very, very good side. It isn't like he's going to go and play for Northern Ireland. He's playing for he'll be playing with some top international European footballers. So yeah, he's been great. I think everyone's really starting to kind of come back into form. It's like I said the past few podcasts, that it's been a bit of a stop-start season. Inconsistent injuries.
Yeah, feel like we've started now, don't you? It does feel like
you feel like we're kind of making a bit of an impact now. And Target, I thought, was excellent last week as well against Everton. He was much better. Looks much fitter. I think we're looking fitter as a squad, looking fitter as a first 11, and I think we're starting to kind of come into our own now. And September is, as I said before, a very, very tough month for us. The fixtures don't get any easier. So, and we all know what our record at Old Trafford is pretty appalling, home and away. So it'll be a tough game. But yeah, I mean, I think you keep on whipping balls and like that, like Cash did last night. We've got the players to get on the end of them, and that was an outstanding header from Archer as well. Absolutely outstanding.
And a lot, as good as the cross was, there's a lot to do still there. A lot to do.
Unbelievable header. Kind of, that kind of goal just makes me smile. It was so
in
good.
Off the bar, lovely.
Just so good, and listen, he scored the hat-trick against Barrow, and we all thought, okay, who is this kid? I hadn't really heard of him. To be honest, I hadn't heard of him. I didn't know who he was until I saw him play against Barrow. He wasn't one of the youth players that really was sort of standing out last season, because obviously he was on loan. But could he do it against a bigger team? It doesn't get any bigger than Chelsea. It's Stamford Bridge, under the lights, and he was excellent. And as Omar said, she's got that sort of Tevez look about him. I think I mentioned about sort of Dras Vassell type build as well. And he can certainly finish. And for us, he isn't the tallest of strikers, but to get that leap and that accuracy and that power behind that header was quite something. It was an amazing goal. What a special night for him, and the crowd, just seeing the limbs and the crowd was it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Not many teams will go to Stamford Bridge and outplay Chelsea. Villa have done it twice and come away with nothing, and it went to penalties. Unfortunately, Jed Stair didn't come out, which may have been something to do with why we didn't manage to take anything from the penalty shootout. It is what it is with penalties, isn't it? It's unfortunate for those that miss it. It's 50-50. Got to say, I didn't feel particularly confident with either of the player that missed for some reason. I just had memories of Young missing loads of penalties when he was last here, and then Nakamba didn't look confident. Came out and apologised, which I don't think he needed to do, because he had a really, really good game. And if you've got the balls to step up and take a penalty, you're all right by me. A few nice penalties. I mean, El Ghazi's penalty was absolutely wonderful. Completely different style to how he normally takes a pen, but it was a great penalty. And just a shame, Omar, that we couldn't end the night on a high.
Yeah, a real shame. I actually I was sitting down with my missus watching the game, and because it's penalties, she's a bit more interested because
Everyone loves
Manchester
penalties,
team.
except if it's your
Everyone loves
team.
penalties. Yeah, and I said, "Oh, Ghazi, he never misses." I said, "He won't miss." And she said, "How are you confident he could easily miss? You never know what's going to happen." I said, "He never misses. He won't miss." And when I saw him hit the ball, I had that sort of moment where the keeper went the
Yeah.
same way, and I was like, "Ah." Oh, he's missed. And I didn't expect him to hit a top corner or try
He's
and even
never done
attempt
that,
that
has
because
he? It's all been low.
No.
Everyone's been low.
he normally goes in the corners, the sort of bottom corners. But he's just the man at penalties, isn't he? Regardless of what he does in the match, when it comes to penalties, you just bank on him. But yeah, I mean, Ashley Young's a weird one. I'm the same. I remember him missing loads. I remember him scoring against Liverpool away and a couple
Man
of
U at
others.
home,
But
he
I also
scored, didn't
remember
he?
Man U
Yeah,
at
I
home.
can't
Yeah,
remember. I don't remember that many penalty misses from
he,
Ashley Young back in the day.
he missed against Arsenal. I remember
Oh
that
yeah.
away.
Yeah, Emirates.
Bolton away. I've
Yeah,
got visions of him missing at Bolton
Bolton
away as
away.
well. Yeah.
Sorry, there's a fly flying around right in my
That was
head.
me last week.
But I know, yeah, it's the same one. But yeah, I wasn't that entirely confident. Then when the Canberra stepped up, I was like, nah, no way. I said to again to my missus, sorry to bring her up again, but I said, oh, he's not going to score. He hasn't got the technique for it. He was like, he's a professional footballer. Surely he can score a penalty.
His face, he looked terrified.
I was like, no way he's going to score. You just knew, and everyone knew, and I feel for him because he had a decent game, and he again rarely lets us down. He's one of these players who comes in and does a job, and he's been part of so many important wins as well. Underrated player, and I did feel for him. It wasn't a terrible penalty. It was just, it wasn't that well hit, that strongly hit. But
Your wife must think you're a genius, by the way. Predicting how Ghazi to score if she doesn't follow Villa regular. She must think you're a genius. We could have done with you predicting some more Chelsea players to miss.
I know, yeah, I know. But I thought Steer would do better, to be honest. I was quite surprised. Obviously, I was bigging him up, so I did get it wrong. I was bigging him up, saying how he saved us in the playoffs. But it was weird. He was sort of, and a few people have said this to me. Non-Villa fans have said, what was he doing? Why was he diving so early? And I don't know if it was a tactical ploy to say, the players go a certain way, and he's trying to get there early or not. But it just looked a bit weird. And yeah, hopefully, it's one of those things. Penalties, like you say, it's a lottery. But it would have been nice to see some of the youngsters.
I was surprised Archer didn't take one being a forward. It felt like we were protecting the younger players a little bit, with Conser and Nakamba taking them.
I don't know. I don't buy that because Dean Smith doesn't protect young players. He's thrown them in the deep end plenty of times. He's thrown them in games where we needed to win, played them in games where it was tight and we needed to make sure we didn't concede. He's not afraid to do it. So I don't know. I'm a bit surprised, to be honest, because I thought Archer would be confident from scoring a goal. I thought Chukwuemeka, he had a slow start to the game, but then as he grew into it, he was brilliant. And again, full of confidence. Bidace is just, confident player. Maybe because he got injured a little bit, maybe he decided not to take a pen. But it would be nice to see one of them at least take a penalty.
Even Cash, off the back of a golden assist, got decent technique. He takes a few, takes the offset. Oh yeah, he gone, hadn't he? Oh yeah, Conser would come on for it.
Conser's pen was good, by the way. I was surprised he had that in him. That was again top bins as well. So it's a lottery.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I think it's more important for us as Villa fans is the fact that we went toe to toe with them
again,
and probably should have won the game in 90 minutes. Really, to be honest. And I know I said it would be nice to see Ings or Watkins on the bench earlier, but again, the team, the squad there was good enough to beat them because then they should have really if we taken our chances.
Well, on the plus now. The two strikers have had a nice little rest before we head to Old Trafford on Saturday for the lunchtime kickoff. That isn't on TV because there is a gig at a cricket club or something stupid. So I presume they've known about that for months, but then decided a few weeks before that they better do something about it and move the game.
That's that gig I was telling you about.
No, I know, Mr. Name Drop. Don't need to tell me.
I didn't have a job.
You were about I'm saving you from the name drop. I'm saving you from it. I'm saving yourself. I'm saving you from it. Let's talk about the game then, and let's talk about the penalty that Manchester United are going to get Dolan and Ronaldo's probably going to take and score. Manchester United not had a penalty this season. Ronaldo's three favourite teams to play against are Newcastle, West Ham and Villa in terms of goal output in the Premier League. He's already played Newcastle and West Ham and scored against them, so he's going to make it a hat-trick of sorts against Villa, probably from the spot. I mean, Ronaldo last week, I think he should have had a penalty at West Ham. The one was 100% a penalty. I'm not sure what the ref or VAR were doing, but of course, it's being saved for Villa to rock up. Probably Douglas Luiz giving it away.
Yeah, I mean, like, last season against Paul Pogba, it was very soft. That was a golden chance for us to get something.
Home and away from Luiz against Pogba,
yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then obviously the absolute howler that they got with Fernandes in the Project Restart when Fernandes stood on Konza and then penalty.
It's absolutely vintage.
It's class. It's classic. I mean, listen, I don't hold much hope for Saturday just because of our record, but I think we'll push them. I think we'll push them all the way, and I think it will be. I think we'll give them a real game. But they're coming off the back of a bad result. There's a bit of unrest.
Well, a couple of bad results.
Young Boys was a really poor result. West Ham, I thought, pushed them all the way. Played really well. They got dumped out of the cup again. I think as fans, we all know what it's like being Solskjaer. 1 minute the fans love him, the next minute the fans can't have him. So it's at the minute they've come off the back of some really poor performances and results. So I just hope if we can get at them early doors, get a bit of pressure on them, have a couple of chances, maybe even get an early goal. And you never know, but I mean, their squad is so strong. Going forward, they're so strong at the back as well. Obviously, I still think Maguire's quite a weak link, but I think even the fullbacks I think aren't particularly great. But Varane's an absolute Rolls Royce of a defender. So it'll be a tough one, but yeah, you can write the script. You can see what's going to happen, as you called it. It'll be like a Douglas Luiz soft penalty, and they'll get it in the last. In the 85th minute, and it'll be 1-0 or 1-1, and then they'll go and score, and it'll be 2-1. And you can write the script, but you just never know, mate. You never know. With Bailey, if Bailey was in the squad, if Bailey was fit,
I'd feel better.
I'd stick a fiver on us getting something. I really would. If Bailey was fit, I would be right up for it. But the fact he's not, I think we're probably going to go again, like we said, with the 5-5-3-2. Ramsey, Luis, McGinn.
Yeah, McGinn should be back. Looking at the protocol, I had a good look at the protocols yesterday with Greg. I think he should be back looking at that.
Yeah. So I think we'll probably be unchanged from the Everton game. But you look at our bench against Everton, and we certainly have enough to come on and change the game if we need to. Which is where I've always said over the last 2 seasons that we've severely lacked that depth. We can predict the subs Dean Smith was going to make because we only had a very limited squad. So now we've got a lot more to work with, a lot more to play with, and let's just hope we don't get get embarrassed. But I just never enjoy playing those lot, ever. There's just never seem to come off the back of a good result against them. It's just I think we beat them all twice, and was it 97?
95.
And then Gabby, 2009.
Yeah.
And then, I remember the game where we were 2-0 up, remember? And then they won 3-2. And then
I was at that game. I was going to say, at least they can't bring Makeda on. That is one.
Then there was that game, the Makeda game.
And then he scored the season after as well. Or 2 seasons after when he only scored against us ever.
There was the game at home as well when Hernandez came on and scored a hat-trick, didn't he?
2-0 up.
We were 2-0 up. Vyman bagged that night as well.
Benteke left Smalling on the floor.
We just never ever get anything against that lot. No. And
they've won 14 of the last 18. I did the Totally Football show earlier. Nice little plug, and they said 14 out of the last 18.
There you go. So
abhorrent record Villa have got. Absolute.
But that's why I'm glad it's at 12:30, just get the misery out of the way and just crack on with the day and stick the Ryder Cup on Saturday night.
Forget the Ryder Cup. Forget that. It's not the Ryder Cup podcast. The stupid thing is that I'm allowing myself to get carried away and feel positive, Omar. I do it every year. I do it every year at home to Man U and away. I think it's sure this year. Come on, it's got to be this year. But I watched Manchester United against Newcastle, and 4-1 really, really flattered them in Ronaldo's first game. Newcastle caused them a lot of problems in the first half with Payson on the break. I fancy us to cause them problems. And like Dolan says, I think if we go 1-0 up, I would give us a chance because we can defend. Obviously, Axel's out and it'll probably be Hawes coming in to replace him, which is no problem, as we've already discussed. But, it's a solid defence. I fancy us if we can get ahead. I think there's goals in this team. be lovely for Leon Bailey to be available again, like Donna says, but he's not. I'd fancy us, really fancy us if he was going to start that game and play. But it has got to happen at some point for us against Manchester United, and there is no reason why it shouldn't be this year. I don't think they're all that, and on any given day, I think they can be beaten.
I agree. Couldn't put it better myself, to be honest. We're due one. We are due one. You know,
overdue, well overdue.
Well overdue one. We're overdue a soft penalty decision as well in our favour. I think. I hate previewing the Man United game. I hate it. It's always the same. Everyone's down. Completely understandable. You know, we talk about the head-to-head, and it's the same old thing, and talk about the penalties, and it's the same conversation. It's just depressing. But I feel positive. I feel confident. Even I think Bailey missing is a shame, but I think we would have played 3-5-2 anyway, because I think it suits us for this very moment. I think it suits us against the better teams, because you know we can outplay teams with that formation. I think we've seen that against Chelsea, and I think we can do it against Man United, because they're not the best footballing side. They're an effective side. You know, they've got good players: Pogba, Fernandes, Ronaldo. They can make things happen out of nothing. Greenwood. But in terms of footballing, you can get in and amongst them. You know, McTominay and Fred will probably be the midfielders. McGinn, Ramsey, and Luiz definitely can do a job against them. Ramsey in particular, I'm excited to see him.
If you press Fred high, you'll have the same kind of joy we did when we pressed Chelsea's midfield high.
Exactly, 100%. And I think we can get in and amongst them, and having Ings and Watkins there as a pair, you know, we should ruffle a few feathers there at the back four as well. So I'm not confident. I'm not saying I'm confident, but I think we've got a chance, definitely. And you know, I can see us, even though Bailey's missing, I still think we've got players on the bench like Traore, Bidace as well, Buendia, El Ghazi, Chuck. You know, the Archer as well. You know, he's obviously going to be confident. He'll be on the bench, I'm sure. These players can all make a difference in the game, and they're all, you know, all of them have got something about them in that final third that can make something happen. So I think it'll be a tight game. And maybe we can nick it. I'm going to go and put my neck on the line and say I think it's going to be 1-1. I think Traore is going to come on and make a difference and either assist or get a goal to make it 2-1, and we'll win this game.
I'm absolutely 100% going to predict us to lose. That's the safest thing to do here. I've done it on my other podcast today. I said we'd lose 2-1, so I'm going to stick with that. But inside, deep down, there's always that part of me that thinks we're going to win. But I'm not going to predict that, because if I do that, there's absolutely no chance it will happen.
But you've said it now. So.
Even last season, when we went 1-0 up,
we played well.
We scored that wonder goal, and you're sort of thinking, okay, right, let's try and hold out. You know, we could really defend last season, and then, you know, they go on and win it. But
they win these games because they get bloody penalties for nothing. That's why they win them.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I put a tweet out today, you know, about this group of players and the club, and I said it's like, for me, it's the most likable group of players we've had since the John Gregory era, since, you know, the early 2000s, and
Big John,
you know, Big JG, you know, and even like Mings coming out and apologising, which again he didn't have to when he made the mistake against Chelsea. Nakamba coming out today and apologising for the penalty when again he doesn't have to, but players just, you know, fronting up and taking ownership of mistakes. And, you know, I think they don't need to, but I just think there's a really nice bond between these lot, and it's and you know, it's really refreshing to see, and it was something that was missing at our football club for a long time. It was very toxic for a long time, and a lot of players were taking Villa for a ride, and now there's just a really nice camaraderie, you know. So yeah, and I even think that after Matt Cash unfollowed me on Instagram, I still think that, you know, that was
one of the shortest relationships I've ever seen. That's like a schoolyard relationship. That was. That's
a couple of weeks. Like a week and a half, and then
couple of weeks.
Never liked anything.
He didn't
said hello. Not what.
Nah, he didn't like the cut. Didn't like the cut of your jib, did he?
Clearly didn't like the cut of it. No, clearly.
Nah,
so,
never mind.
We move on.
We go over it. We've all been unfollowed by footballers before. We all get it. I was just thinking about John Gray. We should get John on. We just try and get John on. I know we are. I know we interviewed him for about 5 hours about 5 years ago, but we should get him on to do it. I'm sure people would like to see John Gregory.
Yeah.
Now, I live 20 minutes away from John Gregory now. I was talking to him on WhatsApp the other day. I really want to ask him to go for a drink, but I'm too scared of rejection, so I haven't done it.
And that's as big a name drop as I've ever heard.
Oh no, you've done
You guys stop name dropping.
You've interviewed Dwight York, Omar. You've done one of the most famous ex-Villa players.
You don't hear me banging on. Don't hear me banging on.
He was only on Twitter for about 7 months. You're still plugging that interview. Dan, can you retweet this?
I
was 7 months ago.
Still my pin tweet. Still my pin tweet.
Still your header on Twitter as well, I've noticed.
Yeah, it's because I look good in it.
Yeah, okay.
I got same time with my haircut.
Oh, okay, nice.
That's the main reason, honestly.
Did you do a prediction, Don? I think you did a prediction. Did you do one?
No, I think like yourself, man. I think my heart says 1-1, my head says 2-1 United.
2-1, yeah. You just know, don't you? It doesn't matter how good you feel about it. We'll still be logging on after the game and feeling shit because something fucking terrible has happened. They got picked up a penalty and we've lost.
That's the worst thing, though, isn't it?
It's because you do just know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we always like the last few times, it's been the same conversation. If this is going to happen, we're going to have a shit decision, and we're going to play really well. We
could do post-match point now. Because it's exactly the same as the two that we did last season. It'll be exactly the same.
That's the frustrating. If they came out and they battered us and they beat us, fair enough. That is what it is. But it's just so many times we've been so close, or we've taken the lead, or what decisions have gone against us, or we should have scored more, or whatever. It's just frustrating every time. Yeah, I'm sick of it. Would you want?
And we do sort of historically go ahead in these games. Like you think of the Ashley Westwood free kick. Do you remember that was the game?
Did we go ahead with that?
Yeah, he scored a lovely little dink free kick. Yeah, that was the game where I think the United fans had the Moyes playing go above.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if United are crap at the time. Exactly. They still beat us. It doesn't matter what they're doing.
I think they won that 4-1? I think they went on to win that game. But we were ahead again. We were ahead from Westwood, and then
they could pay out their under-10s and they'll beat us. We're outplaying, but their under-10s will get a couple of deflections and beat us, or they get penalties.
They'll start Anthony Martial, and he'll score a hat-trick.
And he's the best player in the world. He's just so annoying. Greenwood scored a couple of goals against us recently, hasn't he? Definitely scored
last time out. Yeah.
Gotta be.
Forget it. Come on, be positive.
Got to be wary of him. I did just want to touch on Tuanzebe, mainly because we've got a nice little graphic that we had drawn up earlier. So obviously he's not playing as part of the loan agreement. He can't play against Manchester United. I can see producer Adam racing against time.
Where is it?
Taken completely by surprise, thinking the Manchester United section was over. I've absolutely stitched him, and it's not there now. I just wanted to. You kind of mentioned him earlier, Omar, as up and down. I kind of think that he's just gone a little bit under the radar, just quietly gone about his business more so than anything, and that's why you haven't noticed him that much.
No, I've noticed him. I've been watching him closely. I think he has been up and down. I think he's got all the attributes, hasn't he? But I think he hasn't had a consistent run of games. And at the top level, you need to play consistently. Although House is probably exception to that because he seems to come and just do a job. But I'm trying to pad it out here. Trying to pad it out here so you can get this graphic.
All over
but I don't think he's been. He's had good moments and bad moments. Like I said before, I think the Chelsea game especially, I think there's a couple of suspect moments there. But I think against Chelsea, the cup game, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, they're both.
And
brilliant.
you got an idea of why Dino's so keen on him, and I hope we do sign him because once he can play right back as well, which is helpful in defensive midfield. But I think just his pace, his strength, is so important in Premier League football. And you saw so many times last night his recovery pace against quick player. Werner's not a slow player; he's one of the quickest forwards in the league. He's and you need that in Premier League. You need quick centre backs more so than ever. You could maybe 20 years ago can get away with good solid centre backs who are good at positioning, a bit like John Terry was. But I think these days you need physicality, you need pace, and he's got that in abundance. And I think with the coaching, we talked about already with Dino, he improves players all the time. He can add another level to Tuanzebe easily, and he'll get consistent run of games, and he'll get better and better. And hopefully, it's long term. He's here for Villa rather than just.
I think we'll sign him. I think we'll sign him next summer.
Dean Smith loves him. He's the one who really pushed to get Tuanzebe in.
He's quality, man. I think he's quality. I just think it was just lack of game time for Tuanzebe.
He needs a permanent move, doesn't he? He needs to get settled somewhere. He needs to get away from Manchester United. Being there hasn't really worked for him.
It's just doing no favours. I know he signed a 1-year deal, but I think that's probably just to protect the club in the sense that it'll add a few quid on his value. But for me, you know, he's played more times for Villa than any other club, but he's quality. I think he's absolute. And again, Bruce brought him in. You know, Bruce brought him in. I hadn't heard of him, and Bruce took him to Villa a few years ago, and he was outstanding. And then he was outstanding the year we went up, and he still looks every bit the player that he did when he was with us a few seasons ago. And I think it was his last season he played against PSG, and he was arguably the man of the match.
Yeah, he's great. So, he dealt with Mbappe really well.
He can play in big. He's a big time player, and he's just a lovely, real likable character. And I really hope we get. I think I'm pretty confident we'll get him next season. And I think he loves the Villa, and I think it's a great club for him to be at because the fans love him and the coach love him. So yeah.
I just saw someone say on the comments, terrorist synthesizer, interesting username, that Chester was a Man United reject and so was Paul McGrath. So
yeah, I've got a decent record of Manchester United.
Good record.
Yeah.
Did you see the image flash up?
I saw it briefly. I mean, there's more chances of us winning at Old Trafford than getting that image up properly. Honestly, what's going on?
It's on Twitter. It's on Twitter.
Yeah, honestly, useless. Absolutely useless.
Poor Adam works so hard in the background. Honestly, you guys give him so much chip.
To be fair, it's a bit harsh to say you guys. I don't think Dalton says anything to him. To be honest, I think it's probably just me. Yeah, he knows that.
Just the superstar.
He knows.
He stuck a picture of me on top of Dolly Parton's face earlier on. Which,
I forgot that. Oh, by the way, guys, anyone watching and listening, Chris's new nickname is Dolly.
He doesn't like it. So he doesn't like it.
Use and abuse.
Doesn't like a nickname. He does not like a nickname. So I've given Greg a good nickname. Well, not a good nickname. A nickname over the last month or so on the Athletic, and it started to stick. People are like messaging me calling him Global Greg Evans, so that started to stick. Starting to get his nerves. Greg. Oh, he was poor, wasn't he? He was miserable this week. Really miserable.
I follow him on. I got connected to him on LinkedIn, and he's tagged for himself as the positive journalist.
Really? Absolute bull. Absolute bull. If anyone is into 1874 in the week, jeez.
Yeah. So
got up on the wrong side of bed.
Really not good.
Yeah. Let's finish then with the big question. So, because they obviously went to penalty shootout last night.
We all know who we're all going to pick the same person.
Do you think? Well, let's go. No, we might not. You don't know. We might not. So you're allowed, if your life is on the line and you got to pick one Villa player in history to take a penalty to save your life, so you're putting your life in this player's hands as they run up to the spot. Who are you choosing? If we all pick the same, that is going to be boring. There's every chance we will all pick the same. Omar might pick his hero Dwight York though, so you just never know. Omar, who are you picking?
There's a few. I'm going.
You can only have one. You can only have one.
I'm saying there's a few options.
Okay. I think there's only one option.
Steve Staunton, it was brilliant. James Milner was good. Gareth Barry was brilliant. But it's got to be Penwar Ghazi. It's got to be. Or Jedinak is a close second.
You've not listened to the question properly. Oh, no, I suppose it does still, mate. It still could be him. I said in history, so that to me meant a previous Villa player, an ex-Villa player. But I guess you can have Al Ghazi if that's who you want.
Oh, right. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Well, then I'll go Jedinak then.
Jedinak.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'll go for Jedinak because I don't think he's. I can't remember him ever missing a penalty.
I only took one for Villa though. I want someone who's taken more for Villa to put. If I'm putting my life in the hands, I want.
Fine, Milner then. Milner.
Well, no, you can have Jedinak. That's fine.
No, but you pick
three players now. Just pick one. Just pick one.
Yeah, Jedinak.
Jedinak. Dolan.
Yeah.
It's got to be Glenn Whelan. No. Gareth Barry all day long. Barry.
He was my pick as well.
All day long, just Mr. Cool. You know.
I mean, he probably did miss one or two, but generally he took so many for Villa over the years because he was there for so long. His record was outstanding. He just can't be ruffled, Gareth Barry. Just fairly be quite calm about it still.
Yeah, Barry or York's up there as well, just for that. You know, the sheer.
I wouldn't be happy with it. I wouldn't be happy with a chip if my life was on the line.
But yeah, it's got to be Gareth Barry. It's got to be Gareth. But I can't see the comments, but I would imagine it'll be Gareth Barry in the comments below.
He's even got that wrong. I said not Al Ghazi. He's even got that wrong on the bottom. I said you could have Jedinak. Honestly, I said not El Ghazi. Honestly,
do you know who was underrated at penalties? I only saw him take 2 penalties in the penalty shootout. It was Carlos Cuellar.
Was it the pace he gave?
Both penalties he took top bins both times.
Okay.
Alan Wright had a good penalty. He scored a couple in shootout. I know he missed one as well. Yeah. Alan Wright took a good penalty in 2000 famous penalty. You know, Dion Dublin scored that one at Wembley in 2000, but he missed a fair few for us as well.
Crewe, I remember Crewe having a few. Did Crewe have a few? Take a few.
Yeah, he missed a few. He missed against Portsmouth away. I remember that.
He put one in Rosehead against Newcastle when we lost 6-1 as well.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, that ball never was fouled. It was Matt Lynch. I mean, no one's voted for Matt Lynch. No one's having Matt Lynch take the penalty. Does have their life either. But Platt, I mean, a bit before my time, so I don't really remember him scoring penalties. But Dino had a good penalty in my early days. He missed a couple. He missed a couple as well. I'm trying. Gareth, I think Barry, Jedinak, and El Ghazi, the three.
Someone said Russian roulette, Juan Pablo Angel. I still remember him against Spurs. Was it Charlton as well? Was it Charlton? Or
he missed two. He missed two in one game against Fulham, and a game against Tottenham at home. He scored. He missed a penalty. He scored an own goal. 5 minutes later, he scored an own goal.
Yeah, I've just had a WhatsApp from my brother Pete, and he has just. I can't believe nobody even brought it up. Phil King against Inter Milan.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Ian Taylor. Come on, Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. He's never been a pen taker. I don't
Phil
think
King.
Great shirt.
Great shirt, Phil King. Tommy missed against Rotherham, didn't he?
Yeah, but he did score. He did score a lot of pens that season, though. A lot of pens. I could talk about historical penalties or not. Sean Taylor took a nice one against Tranmere in '94.
He did. Yeah.
Sean Taylor took a nice. I mean, who would you have in goal? I mean, we'd all have Bozzy, wouldn't we? If you needed a pen to be saved.
Yeah.
Had to be Bozzy. Guzan was good at pens, although obviously he was towards the end of his career, but he was very good at pens. But yeah, Bozzy all day long.
Yeah, all day long. And to be fair, Martinez, I'd be pretty trustworthy. I know he's only saved one so far, but you have to. We've given away loads of pens since Martinez has come, obviously against Manchester United, but against the normal teams. We've given away too many.
No.
Obviously, say in the Copa America, Martinez came at trumps, didn't he, on the penalty shootout? Interesting debate. I think that does us for this week's episode of the podcast. I forgot to mention our sponsor, Luke, at the start. Don't forget you can get 20% off all their stuff by using the code TVV20 at checkout. That'll get you 20% off most things, and I believe they've got a few new bits and pieces out at the moment. So if you want to go and check that out, do so and save yourself 20% in the process. Other discount codes are available, but hopefully nobody watching this uses that naughty, nasty code. Thanks ever so much for watching, and thanks to Adam as well. He makes a couple of mistakes, but we know he tries hard, and that's what counts. Thanks to the guys for joining me as well. Always a pleasure to talk to you. We're going to do a post-match point. We think we'll probably do it Saturday afternoon, straight after the game if we can. So keep your eye out on our socials and we'll let you know when that's happening. And the three of us will be back next Thursday to do a podcast as well. Thanks ever so much for watching. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.